This is former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, saying that there's nothing here in this these charges. He said, I don't understand why Bragg is putting such emphasis on this case. I think it's all politics, and I think that's what I think the people of the country are saying. And it just feeds that anger, that cynicism, and that partisanship. It's a coincidence that Bragg goes after Trump, and Tish James goes after Trump, and Georgia goes after Trump. That's all a coincidence. I think it feeds the cynicism, and that's the cancer in our body politic right now.
I just would like to go on record of saying I think this is a colossal mistake if they bring these charges. Not this one. First of all, it's not going to work. It's going to be rocket fuel for his 2024 campaign. And it's just going to look to MAGA Nation like, oh, you know, you tried with Mueller, you tried with Ukraine, you tried with January 6th, now we go to the porn star? Really? You're down to that?
These four horrible, radical left Democrat investigations of your all-time favorite president, me, is just a continuation of the most disgusting witch hunt in the history of our country. Regime's weaponization of law enforcement against their political opponent is something straight out of the Stalinist Russian horror show. You go back to communist China or look at a third world banana republic. That's what we've become. Between our borders, our elections, and the weaponization of law enforcement.
old saying goes that a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich, and that's how they're set up. They only really hear the evidence from the prosecutor because the hurdle they have to pass is all this evidence at its highest level, could it result in a guilty charge? That's what you have to decide to proceed. So there's no real focus on the defence. There's no real consideration of either side. So it's not that hard in any argument if you only present one side to convince people. And so that's why this has been such a confusing week, to say, hang on, why haven't we got a result here yet? This has been going for a while. We should know. This is a case that dates back to 2016. What new evidence is coming out now to change people's mind? And don't forget the big picture here. I mean, we're talking about a misdemeanor, and a lot of this, the question has been how much political interference is happening? How much are Democrats getting in the middle of this, saying, guys, we don't need another platform from Donald Trump, who's raised $1.5 million in the 3 days after he said he was going to be arrested from supporters. Those are all small grassroots donations. So this is a cause for concern when he's running for president again. They're almost giving him the platform that they want to take away from him.
Whether the prosecutor is going to do this or not, I just don't know. But let's assume they do, just for a moment. We're talking about a 2016 presidential election campaign in which over $1.5 billion was spent on campaigning. The allegation is the $130,000 paid to Stormy Daniels should have been declared as a campaign declaration. Even if that's true, that would count as a very minor misdemeanor, a rounding error, frankly, in declarations, and not a felony. And therefore, it would be a complete and utter abuse of power from the New York court to do this. I have to say that whilst this is going on, we have Hunter Biden, the drug-addled Hunter Biden, earning billions from Russia, China, Ukraine, and no one raises an eyebrow. So I've kind of reached the conclusion that I hope he is arrested, because it'll wake middle America up to just how totally corrupt everything in the deep state, and in particular their own judiciary, has become, and it'll make Trump a hero and guarantee that he wins in November next year.